Hey, this is Reverend Bill, and this is my third installment of my new series, Awakenings. And I just thought I'd take a couple of minutes here to explain what I'm trying to do. Um, and that is, I guess a few years ago, I was probably not as involved spiritually as I should be. And through a series of events, mostly some. I think I mentioned that I've been under attack by some black magic and some uh, witches and demons and things, which I didn't. I honestly had no idea they existed. I really didn't. Um, to me, they were just things you see in movies and you forget about them. And well, they did start attacking, and at first I didn't know what was going on, and then I fell into a crowd of people that did know what was going on, and they taught me a lot of things. Um, about witches do actually exist, and they are they're very cruel, they're very mean, they're incessant, they never give up, um, and they do horrible, terrible things all the time. And it was only through the help of these people, mostly from Nigeria, that helped teach me exactly how to deal with them. And although I'm still battling them now, I've actually managed to keep them at bay. And throughout the battles and the fights, I began to realize some things about Jesus and God. Without Jesus, I would have been gone long ago. Um, and it occurred to me that people just assume that when you read the Bible and you hear about God talking, or you hear about people committing miracles, or um, those kind of miraculous things, you're like, yeah, 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 that happened in the Bible. It doesn't happen anymore, and that's wrong. They do happen, and I've seen them. Um, I've seen quite a few things, and I've been through a lot of experiences, and it made me get um, very spiritual, and it made me realize that the world around us, it doesn't really matter all that much. I mean, you see these trans people and these gay people and all this LGBTQ whatever ABC stuff, and you get caught up with it. And I really do believe that's the devil trying to distract us from what's important. And what is important is salvation and redemption. And there are some very important principles that if you do want to have salvation, you've got to stick to. And I thought I was, you know, untouchable as far as sin goes because I followed the commandments, etc. And I've mentioned before, the good Lord actually did talk to me, and he told me that I was a sinner, and when the Lord talks to you, you listen. That's true. And I followed what he said, and he's been very, very good to me ever since. And I want to share a little bit of what I learned through my experiences with you. And that, if I can do 10, 15 minutes every couple of days, and share some things I learned that I think were helpful, that and I can save some souls, that would be outstanding, because that's really what I'd like to do. Um, so today I wanted to kind of go over three heavens. There actually are three heavens. A lot of people don't realize that. And I'm going to just briefly go over each one and just kind of discuss it with you, so that you understand. Now, the first heaven is where we are right now. I mean, it's basically the earth, the stars, the skies. Um, so there's really not, you're very familiar with that. Um, After then there's a second heaven. Now, the second heaven, depending on who you talk to, you will come up with different answers. The evangelical answer, which I subscribe to, is that it is a domain that belongs to Satan, and it's a warring existence between good and bad, mostly bad though. Um, and I honestly believe that this is the second heaven is the evil domain, because I think I was actually taken there by the witches at one point in time, and that's a whole different conversation. But I do think I actually was taken there, and it's not a very pleasant place. It's very similar to this. The only difference is that there are evil spirits everywhere, and it was a very unnerving experience for me. But it basically is, there's a warfare going on between good and bad. While see now the first heaven is us. The second heaven is this warring plane of existence that I just kind of got the feeling was predominantly evil. And why that's important is because when you pray, the prayers need to get to the third heaven, which we'll get to in a minute, but they got to penetrate the second heaven. And there are, evil angels, spirits, demons, whatever, that want to prevent your prayers from going to Jesus, and they will stop them. It is layered, and they will stop them. That's why it's important that you don't just pray once. The Bible talks about how Daniel was blessed because he prayed constantly, because he knew that his prayers were getting blocked. So he continued to pray, consistently, and then, sooner or later his prayers would get into heaven and they would be answered. And God does answer prayers, by the way. If the right things are met, God is remarkably reactive to your prayers. I've seen it myself. So the second one is this warring heaven that just basically is chaos. I actually read somewhere that that Satan sometimes has a hard time keeping it in order because it's just so chaotic and crazy. Okay, now beyond that is the heaven that we all think of, the third heaven, which is the realm of Jesus Christ. And that's where we all want to go to, obviously. It's a beautiful place. It's a paradise, as St. Paul called it. And that's pretty much all I can tell you about that, because I've not been to the third heaven. I wish I was. But yeah, no. So again, first heaven, basically what you know here. Second heaven is kind of a calamity, a chaotic place that I found pretty much predominantly run by evil spirits and demons. And then there's the third heaven, which we all aspire to get to. Now, interesting enough, there has been some people that have gone to third heaven. There was Enoch, and that the reference, I think it's Genesis 5:24, if I'm not mistaken, talks about how God took Enoch up to heaven, and he went without experiencing death because he was such a blessed prophet. Another one was Elijah. And let's see, what did it say here about it? Yeah, he was taken in a whirlwind of a chariot of fire and horses of fire. He did not experience death either. So there were two. Now, there was also a couple of other references. St. John, he was a great guy. I mean, seriously, St. John. One thing I remember about St. John is they tried to kill him. And as a last-ditch effort, they just got him because he wouldn't stop preaching, and they threw him in boiling oil. And the guy just stood up and kept on preaching in the boiling oil, and the oil didn't touch him. So they ended up isolating him in an island, and where they figured he can't do any damage. And the Lord came down and took him to heaven, and he witnessed the transfiguration and the crucifixion up there. And he actually wrote the book of Revelation from his experiences there. So yeah, he was another one. And then there was actually even a fourth one, which was much more subtle. St. Paul, he talked about it, but he referred to himself in the third person. So a lot of people are kind of like, well, why doesn't he just say, I went to heaven? Why is he talking about the third person? I don't know. He just did. But he mentioned it was where he went, where God dwells. And he called it paradise, as I mentioned. And he actually went there 14 years before he wrote 2 Corinthians. So he did come back. He didn't stay there like Enoch and Elijah. He did come back, and John came back too, obviously, to write Revelation. And neither one, ascended permanently, but they kind of visited the place and took a look around. And and they came back and they continued their writings because they were great prophets. So anyway, I'm trying to keep these things kind of short so I don't bore you too much. That's pretty much all I got right now for the three heavens. I really hope that this was interesting for you. If you liked it, please like, share, and subscribe. I want to get the word out there because I do think I've got some very important things to say. And the way the world is right now, I do think the devil is trying to distract us from what's important. And what's important is that we're here to get salvation, and we're here to go to heaven, paradise, as St. Paul called it. And the way things are going right now, like I said, I wonder how many people actually even think about praying. But if you did like this, please like, share, and subscribe. You got my email address. You got any questions? Let me know, and I will hopefully talk to you again very soon. Thank you for coming. Bye-bye.